What up folks, this is Suhail back with Angelus brand, and I'm going to show you guys how to flip these boring black kicks into these neons. Alright guys, first things first, I'm going to unlace the cleat and we're going to prep the shoe up. A couple of things to note about deglazer: it strips off any kind of a clear coat that may be on the actual shoe, but more importantly, it also preps the shoe for paint. It takes off any oil, any dust that you have. It's a fairly safe solution to use, but I would use it in a ventilated area. If you don't have a heat gun, make sure you give this guy proper enough time to dry. For those of you guys who have an airbrush, I'm going to show you guys how to tape off the bottom as well. This red tape is amazing. The reason why is because it sticks great, number one, but number two, it's very flexible, so I love using this tape. When you're actually taping, make sure to lock in this tape by taking just your fingernail and literally just grazing and almost pushing the end of the tape into the cleat sole. That will give you the best finish. This tape works amazing with sock liners. It's actually ideal for sock liners. One last step, grab some masking tape, gently mask the top off. So with that said guys, I'm grabbing my flat white. And then use too thin to just make sure that it's thin enough for it to travel through your airbrush in a smooth fashion. I'm going to only airbrush the outside, guys, and then we'll hand paint the inside white, just to give you guys a basis of comparison on how to do both, okay? What I'm going to concentrate on this shoe, airbrushing wise, is just the leather portions, because I've used too thin and I've used white paint, so I'm only looking for the leather portions. And let's just start with the painting here. As I start painting, guys, all I'm doing is I'll lay some paint out in the whole area, and then what I'll do is I'll thin it out. And what I mean by thin it out, I guess I mean smooth it out. You want to paint it from left to right versus up and down on the toe box, because the natural tendency of this leather is to stretch left and right. So that's the way you want to make sure that the paint is laying on it as well. I'm going to continue now to go through with the airbrush and just start off the base coat here and get a clean concrete texture going. You guys don't want to glop layers and layers and layers of paint on it, because eventually what happens is it becomes too thick of a coat, and that gives you a potential of cracking or peeling. And if you're going to be playing with these, it's going to be kind of embarrassing if your stuff starts peeling off on the field, right? So we got some plastic pieces that we need to paint, so we're going to be using a combination of a too hard and flat white. For the too hard and the flat white, it should be a 1-to-1. So what I would do is I would just mix it 1-to-1 in the beginning, and then if you see that it's not coming out of your airbrush for whatever reason, then add a little bit of too thin. If you're hand painting it, guys, you don't even need to do that. You can just go with the too hard and the flat white all together. You guys can see here's a finished product, and this is just our base shoe, and this is a good introduction to how to make your cleats that were completely black into white cleats. We used on this shoe so far flat white. I've used some too thin when I put it through my airbrush, and I've also used some too hard for all the plastic pieces, for example on the tongue and this back heel tab over here. So the next step, guys, we're going to get into is we're going to actually start painting the shoe some pretty fresh colors. So what I'm going to do is mask off this Nike swoosh here. mask off the second Nike swoosh on this side as well. A really easy way to cover that tiempo in the back. Again, it has so many different little grooves. I just kind of get an idea of the size of it. And I'll try to cut a tape piece to that size and literally just cover just the back of that area. And I'm going back in, cutting right around it. Okay, we're ready to paint, guys. So first things first, I'm gonna start putting some Tahitian pink in. And I'm using too thin, help make the paint airbrush ready and ready to flow out and have a good clean flow when it actually comes out of the airbrush. When I start from the front of the shoe, guys, you really want to concentrate on making sure that this portion here gets a lot of coverage compared to the back portions, because what we'll end up doing is just spraying enough of the pink to give a nice light fade and an entrance for the purple to come in. Then in the back, we're going to make sure that the purple is really saturated as well. You might want to just cover the front up with maybe like a rag, a clean rag, something you can trust that won't go through, because you don't want to hit purple on the front of this guy. All right, folks, so guess what? We're done with the upper. Yay! No, not yet, actually. We still gotta lace this out with some high gloss acrylic. But before we do that, we still have to take off the tape on all the emblems here, guys. Keep in mind that even though you did a good job taping, you'll still need to touch up no matter what, so. Let's get out our paints so we can start mixing them up. Since we're painting all these different pieces that are plastic, we got to use some Too Hard. All right, so let me just drop some Too Hard in this guy here. Let's give this a shot and see how it works. Taking a little bit of a black right now, and I'm hand painting this, guys. There's a lot of little highlights. We've got the swoosh highlighted here all the way through to the back, and I've got the little neon Nike logo in the front, and I just went ahead and highlighted that in a matte black as well, or a flat black. I'll be taking this black outlining here, and I'll be doing almost like a flame or a spark-like effect. You don't necessarily need to do it, but you know, I do it just to add a little bit of flavor to the shoe. It's a little bit of detail work. The last thing I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to take this swoosh right here and I'll just put a little bit of detail behind it. What I'll be doing is just adding a little bit of green accent on the bottom portion and almost give it a splatter effect similar to this one right here, just to give another dimension to it, and then we're going to wrap this video off. Last thing I got to do with this is hit it with the high gloss. So you can either brush it on or you can use a wipe, like a towel, a microfiber towel. But today I'm going to use airbrush because it's convenient for me and I've got it right next to me. So